Good morning. Welcome to my channel, Fehu State of Mind. Currently in downtown Portsmouth. Thought it'd be a fitting place to do my first video for YouTube. So, first of all, a little bit about myself. Born and raised here in Portsmouth. Traveled a bunch of other places. Gotten to see some cool things. But, you know, did the whole college thing after high school. Got my degree. And thought I had the idea for what I wanted to do with my life. And I did. I still love my job. 10 years in, and still a good thing. I work as a local police officer. I'm not going to name the city because that wouldn't be right. And this vlog is not about police stuff. There's plenty of vlogs like that. No, mine's about Fehu State of Mind. So, where that comes from. Like I said, 10 years in law enforcement can be a stressful job. And about 4 years in, I became disgruntled. That lasted for about 2 years. I didn't really know what was going on. So, I thought it was just me. Thought it was just the normal adulting that everyone talks about sucks. And then I came across a book called On Combat by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. And I read that. And I realized I don't think I was dealing with PTSD per se. Not in the sense that most people define it. I think that would be a little bit much for what I was going through. But I had some unresolved issues. I hadn't pinpointed them yet, but something was troubling me with work. So I started trying to figure out how to be happy again. Because I was happy at home, I was happy with my family, I was happy with everything, just disgruntled at work. So fast forward to 2014, I had my first daughter, and everything was right with the world, and I was actually really happy again. But what ended up happening was I started to let work slip. I was real happy at home, but I let work slip. And that wasn't a cool thing to do. So, a year and a half later, we have our second child. And in that childbirth, I came close to losing both my wife and my daughter. And that was rough. But it made me deal with what I had been dealing with on the street. Real quick side note. This is the Pass House, some of Portsmouth's history. A lot of times you'll see houses with names on it. That's not the case. It was actually the house to get a pass for going to Norfolk in the Civil War. And you basically had to stomp on a Confederate flag to do so. Just a history tidbit. So, anyway, back to my story. So, having my second daughter and some issues both with my wife and with the daughter made me come to face with the fact that the problem I was having was related to some calls that had kids as the victims or just kids in general involved. And using the techniques that Lieutenant Colonel Grossman talks about in his book, I did my best to deal with them. And I think I came out better for it on the other side. So around about that same time, I was really interested in the show Vikings and had started to do some research about the Vikings in and of themselves, and came across this band called Wardruna. And I'm going to link a link in the below for Wardruna so you can check them out. But one song in particular just really spoke to me. It was called Fehu, and I don't know, it spoke to me on a different level. So I started doing the digging on the band Wardruna, and to the best of my knowledge, their name actually means keeper of the runes. And every one of their songs is about one of the runes, which in Norse mythology were a magical alphabet handed down to the Norse people by Odin. Fe is the first rune of what's called the Futhark, and it means wealth or gain. And the word Fehu itself means to seek gain, to seek wealth. Well, I thought that was appropriate considering we know the Vikings as marauders and pillagers. But I started to do some digging and found out that it meant more than that. See, the Vikings, they didn't just see gain or wealth as money or gold, silver, things. They saw it also as experience. Wasn't called travel at the time, I imagine, but travel and exploring and gaining new just knowledge, new perspective on life. They were often looking for farming land because Scandinavia is not really good for farming. So, as I said, I connected with the song Fehu, and I realized that's how I wanted to start living my life. I wanted to get back to grabbing life by the horns, doing what I want to do out of life, and when I'm doing what I want to do out of life, enjoying it, and realizing that what I'm getting is Fehu. I am gaining knowledge and experience. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Part of this video is going to be a compilation of different things I've done in the last couple years, and just to show you how I choose to live my life. But that's what it is. Fehu state of mind is just living every day, trying to gain something new from life. It's living, not just existing. So, without further ado, here's some clips from my life as it's been the last couple of years. Some trips that we've taken. We have trips in the making, and I'd like to document those, and I'd like to share them with YouTube in general. And so I hope you enjoy some of these photos, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. So, what am I doing today? Today is, the filming of this is June 10th, 2017. I am sitting here, as you can see, the natural port of Portsmouth is behind me. This is a protected port, and one of the largest shipyards in the world is here. Behind me is a marina, of course, you can see. And this weekend is what is referred to locally as Harborfest. And what Harborfest is a celebration of the harbor of Portsmouth and Norfolk. A lot of history is taking place here. Revolutionary War, Civil War, right up until present day, where we still make some of the best ships in the area, and we have people working on them that are the best in the area, in the world. Across the river is former Fort Norfolk, which they used to have a chain between Fort Norfolk and the Portsmouth Naval Hospital that would protect the port from foreign ships or from invading ships. So today is kind of a monumental day for me, though, not just for Harborfest. And that's because it's my second day going back to the gym. in the last 10 years of working, I've also let myself slip. I haven't taken as good a care of myself as I should. Weight's been a constant struggle for me, and I'm working to resolve that. Over the last 3 weeks, I've changed my diet. I've already started to lose weight because of changing the diet, and I've also started going to the gym. Going to Fleming's gym, which is a small Portsmouth gym, but because it's small doesn't make it bad. Actually, it's what I like about it, because it's not a social club like some other gyms are. Very no nonsense. It's weights, there's cardio area, and it gets the job done. Also below will be a link to the Fleming's gym, because I like to give credit to folks like that. So if you're in the Portsmouth area and you'd like to check out a no nonsense gym, come check them out. But like I said, I got to studying the Vikings, and that's kind of where some of my inspiration came from. Now, I'm Christian by raising, and I still am a Christian. I've not converted to Satru. I'm not trying to say I am. I'm not trying to be a poser either. But some of the concepts of the Vikings really did speak to me, and they didn't believe in being kumbaya, sit around and just to let life happen to us. They went out and they grabbed life by the horns, and that's what I'm trying to do. There's actually quotes from the Havamal where, not directly related to Fehu, but Havamal is also a poem that was in Norse mythology given to the people by Odin as well. And in it, he pretty much tells people, the writer tells people, that if you want to be a wise person, you'll go out and you'll learn. You won't just let life pass you by. You actively go take part of life. And he says that often it's the wise man that goes out and does that has something of value to bring to conversations and to life. Whereas the person who sits by and does nothing, well, they talk a lot, but they don't really have experience. So I'm going out to get my experience. My family's going out to get the experience. And hopefully you guys will subscribe. Because, hey, I want to share this with other people. I would like to think this is my way of giving back to the world. Just a little way to give a nod to the future and hopefully help somebody out. Because, again, Havamal quote. In the Havamal it says, cows die, family dies, and you will die too. But what does not die is the reputation of the man that does die. It's a little gloomy, but what it's saying is that when everything else is gone of this world, what was the mark that you left on it? And for me, that's what Fehu is. It's living, and it's given that chance to leave a mark on the world. So, from Portsmouth, Virginia, for this video, I leave you with, go out and live life, grab it by the horns, practice what you want to practice, religion-wise or otherwise, and at the end of the day, try to make yourself and the world around you a little bit better of a place. Live a Fehu state of mind, and join me again for my next video, which I hope to be pushing out a video per week. And for links to Wardruna, Fleming's gym, please look in the below. There's also a link for Dr. Jackson Crawford. He's the source of my translation of the Poetic Edda, which is the Norse manuscripts that I quoted. Well, I didn't really quote, kind of paraphrased. But Dr. Jackson Crawford has a YouTube channel. He's a professor in Norse linguistics and an expert in the field, whereas I'm not. So go check him out as well. Thank you so much.